Welcome, everyone. I know people are probably going to join in as there's an email that just went out right now, so that way everyone could join in as well. And just as a heads up, I am going to record this so that way you will have access
It's
to it.
already recording.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Dr. Gagos. Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, welcome. My name is Chris Garcia, and I am honored to just have the opportunity to share with you an exciting initiative that we're trying to do here at our Linda Vista Innovation Center. And I'd like to welcome you to Innovating the Future, connecting classrooms to careers in sports and medicine. So, Dr. Gallegos is she's my co-host. So she's letting people in, and she'll also put the link to the resources in the chat. I know some of you got it, but some of you that are joining us, she'll be adding those resources and the link to the resources for tonight. However, if you'd like to look at it right now as well, you can go to the bit.ly and you'll see here it's bit.ly/edtech bioeng. So it starts for short for bioengineering. And it is case sensitive, so be cognizant of that. If you need my contact information, it's chris.garcia@sdcoe.net. And again, like we have with us today is Dr. Gallegos. She is helping me moderate and co-host this session with everyone here. So, but we also have the rest of our team that supports our ed tech. That some of them may be dropping in or whatnot, but if they do and when they do, they will be joining. They'll be here as well. But also in the spirits of collaboration and offering different opportunities for you all, just as a heads up, and it might even tie into some of the things we'll discuss later on today when it comes to funding. But speaking of funding, this Thursday we do have a EdTech grant writing professional development being hosted by my colleague Pam Rabin, and you can sign up for that if you go to the if you have the slide links, all the links to sign up for each one of those are located there. And then after that, on Tuesday, February 25th, one of my colleagues, Jessica Sierra, will be talking about EdTech for Littles podcasting. So yes, we're talking about TK, kindergarten, and first, second, and third graders podcasting. So yeah, watch out all those podcasters. And then after that, on Thursday, that same week, again, Pam Rabin will be going over AI ethics, cyberbullying 2.0, and other classroom considerations when it comes to AI and digital citizenship. And if you would like to see a rest of our course offerings, the calendar link is also there. So if you go directly to the slides, you'll be able to locate that. So let me go ahead and go over the agenda for today. And I made it in a form of making this as a thought exchange. I'm gonna definitely want to hear your thoughts. There are no right or wrong answers. This is an initiative that we're trying to start, but we will be talking about, we're going to be exploring how we can integrate sports medicine and technology into the classrooms, and then talking about engaging our students as well when it comes to real world career connecting learning and experiences. And then lastly, this is the part where I'm going to turn it back over to you all and just to hear your thoughts or ideas, but collaborating when it talks about only we're going to talk about designing meaningful standards and experiences where we can actually have standards aligned as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves though. There is a Padlet link, and I believe Dr. Gallegos posted that in the chat. If we could do that again, that would be great. I'll see if I can also copy it. Looks like I can from here. So if you could do me a favor of introducing yourself, and you're going to answer a couple questions. You're going to share your name. So you can put that on the title part. You'll see an example I pasted on there, or your school site or your district. And then one word or a GIF, or you could use both, that describe your teaching style. And I'm going to exit out from here so that way we could see who we have in here. And I see there's are several people that are sharing their currently typing right now. So again, my name is Chris Garcia. I work at the Linda Vista Innovation Center, which is part of our county, and here at the County Office of Education. And I would have to say the one word that describes my teaching style would be limitless. And I'm not talking about funding. There is a limit to funding, but I'm talking about just when it comes to the opportunities that we provide our students and reaching out and trying to find ways of just bringing the best classroom experiences to our students. So if you could do me a favor of introducing yourself via our Padlet, that would be wonderful. And those of you that just joined us, I saw there was a few of you that just joined us right now. I put a link here to the Padlet. I know some of you are driving and just listening, so don't worry about it. You will have access to the slides. So if you want to go to the Padlet later on, it'll always be open. So go ahead and introduce yourself via this Padlet link. Thank you, Lindsay. You teach at Parkway Academy PE, Sports Med, and you love hands-on teaching and learning by doing. That's beautiful. We have Samantha Ferrari, Parkway Middle School, student-centered. Awesome. Thank you, everyone that's contributing. We still have a few people, as you can see. There are some individuals typing up here. Awesome. We have Julie Robello, Dr. Julie Robello. She's a resource specialist, NSD National School District, and technological. I love it. It's beautiful. And if you want to do the favor of interacting with your colleagues in here, you can do that as well. You can add a comment, add a specific comment to them. You can like it. Again, I pasted the Padlet down here for everyone. But we will go ahead and continue moving forward, and I'm able to see the Padlet. So thank you all for being here. All right. Let me go ahead and just move some of these around so that way I'm able to see the slides now. All right, so let me go ahead and start off with an essential question. We're going to watch a clip in a few moments, and this clip, I believe, is going to give you the opportunity to kind of think about how core subjects really impact major sports and whatnot. So the essential question is this, is what academic subjects commonly taught in schools can you identify in this Moneyball clip? Okay, so let me go ahead and type that question here in the chat. So that way you will have access to looking at or reflecting on the question. So what academic subjects commonly taught in schools can you identify in this Moneyball clip? All right, so I posted this question in here. So as you watch this video, I will be turning the captions on. Do me a favor, just go ahead and check this video out and think what subjects can be commonly taught. So let's check this out.
Morning, Suzanne. Coffee on?
Yes.
Great. Peter Brand.
Billy.
How are you? Hi, how you doing?
Nice to see you.
Good to have you here. Well, you're moving fast.
Yeah, I got here early this morning.
Wow. Huh.
All moved in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Billy. I wanted you to see these player evaluations that you asked me to do.
I asked you to do 3.
Yeah,
To evaluate 3 players.
yeah.
How many did you do?
47.
Okay.
Actually, 51. I don't know why I lied just then.
Why don't you walk me through the board?
Thank you. So using this equation in the upper left right here, I'm projecting that we need to win at least 99 games in order to make it to the postseason. We need to score at least 814 runs in order to win those games and allow no more than 645 runs.
What's this?
This is the code that I've written for our year-to-year projections. This is building in all the intelligence that we have to project players.
Okay.
It's about getting things down to one number. Using the stats the way we read them, we'll find value in players that nobody else can see. People are overlooked for a variety of biased reasons and perceived flaws. Age, appearance, personality. Bill James and mathematics cut straight through that. Billy, of the 20,000 notable players for us to consider, I believe that there is a championship team of 25 people that we could afford, because everyone else in baseball undervalues them. Like an island of misfit toys. Billy, this is Chad Bradford. He's a relief pitcher. He is one of the most undervalued players in baseball. His defect is that he throws funny. Nobody in the big leagues cares about him because he looks funny. This guy could be not just the best pitcher in our bullpen, but one of the most effective relief pitchers in all of baseball. This guy should cost $3 million a year. We can get him for $237,000.
All right, Yaritza, thank you. All right, she already answered the question, but I'm going to post it back right up here. And that question was, what academic subjects commonly taught in schools can you identify in this Moneyball clip? And Yaritza, shout out to Patrick Henry. Math, statistics, computer science, code, Excel, history, social studies, understanding bias and social economic issues. Very powerful. Thank you, Yaritza. Anyone else want to add any of their thoughts? What other subjects could possibly be taught here? And we're talking about a Major League Baseball team, and we're looking at, I mean, one of the major sports in our country and pretty much around the world right now. But if you could just do me a favor, unmute yourself or add in the chat as well. Any other ideas that you could think of or any other subjects, or if you want to elaborate on what Yaritza said. Welcome. We have a couple people that just joined us. We're just analyzing. We just watched a Moneyball clip from the movie Moneyball and talking about a different subjects that are commonly taught in school.
I'm supposed to be on.
Uh, Dr. Julia Robello put reading comprehension and writing. You had to read the information, understand, to write the recommendations. Alex Perez, decimals. Beautiful. So you're seeing that there is a lot of mathematics involved. There is a lot of analysis involved and whatnot. And the beauty about this is that this is Moneyball 2. This is Moneyball, where the research and development of Major League Sports has made a huge impact when it comes to how teams spend money, how teams analyze and look at players. The whole idea of just having raw talent is very few, and you don't see that as much. I mean, you do see that with raw talent. There's very few outliers out there in the world on all major sports. But the beauty and the analysis of research and development and research and design and all these different departments that these sporting teams have are what's making the biggest difference in the world. I will give you a spoiler because this is a history, but in the entire movie Moneyball clip, you see an organization like the Oakland Athletics that transformed the game of baseball, and that was with their analytics. They were able to spend not as much money as major market teams or major cities as New York or Chicago or Los Angeles typically can spend. And they were able to compete year in and year out. And they've been able to do so consistently. But it's been all through the analytics and being able to identify things that a lot of people sometimes do not identify. So keep that in the back of your mind as we're going through this, because I'm going to introduce to you all something that is now Moneyball 2.0 and something that I would like to bring to the classrooms. And with this thought exchange that we're going to have today, I believe that we can do that. But all in all, I wanted to share with you all that one of the things that we have the opportunity of doing, and I wanted to share, is this whole idea of Google's 20% rule. And their whole idea behind that is that it boosts productivity and energy, leading to some of the company's biggest successes. And this is how something that we can benefit as well. I've done this in the classroom, and this is something that I would encourage all of you to do. And what you're able to do, find something that you're passionate about and incorporate it into your teaching structure, your teaching style, those things that we talked about. But inspired by this approach, Dr. Gallegos, our tech director, she asked us if we could explore something in the world of technology that we are passionate about. And the one thing that I'm passionate about is baseball. I love baseball and the opportunity of being able to think outside the box and whatnot. And she asked me on a specific was a fall afternoon, and it was on a Thursday, and in fall of 2023. And she says, "What is it? Is there has to be something with, if you love baseball, there has to be something with technology that is booming with baseball." And I started thinking to myself, I remember attending a Padre game earlier that year, and ironically, at that game, the first pitch was thrown by a professor from Point Loma Nazarene, and they decided to showcase a partnership that they created was the Point Loma Nazarene Biomechanics Lab. And this lab was remarkable. I had the opportunity of visiting it, and as a matter of fact, a year ago they had their grand opening. And it's not located on the actual PLNU campus, but rather it's off of Balboa, close to Montgomery, or the airport that's right there. But I'm going to showcase, it's just a minute and a half of what this entails, and then I'm going to kind of break down of what actually takes place there as well. Actually, here we go. And here is the video. I'm going to turn the captions on and check this out.
Padres pitcher Daniel Camarena is getting in a workout, but this isn't a practice mound at Petco Park. It's a science lab at the Point Loma Nazarene campus in Kearney Mesa.
Once you kind of get past the amazing awestruck, starstruck moment of meeting them, you kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the details of whatever they're able to do from a biomechanics standpoint.
Stephanie Vidari is one of the grad students working in the brand new lab built by the university with the help of the Padres.
The lab is set up to measure everything. There are cameras lining both walls, even the mound itself. Here in the rubber and right where the front foot lands, there are tools to measure and get important data.
Padres pitcher Yu Darvish told me he's excited to use the facility. He spoke through a translator.
You get so much data from this, so I think this is great.
He came to today's ribbon cutting to celebrate the facility's grand opening. He watched Camarena pitch, then saw how the students brought up all that biomechanical information on the screen.
No, I think this technology is beautiful. I mean, you get, as a pitcher, you're able to get this data instantly as you throw it. So, you can't, as a pitcher, in order to improve, you can't ask for more, I think.
But Ari says it's fun to watch the Padres and know that she and her classmates are helping the team succeed.
You get to see them on TV, you're like, oh, that curveball is, thanks a little bit in part to something that someone in the lab might have said. It's always a fun little nugget of information to drop in.
In Kearney Mesa, Jeff Lasky, ABC 10 News.
Using the right way.
All right. So with that being said, let me go ahead and go back to showcasing the whole idea behind this initiative that Point Loma created and their biomechanics lab was talking to Dr. Arnell. I said, like, how different is this analysis from Moneyball, from what we just saw right now in that clip with Jonah Hill giving it to Billy Bean, the general manager. And he said, this is Moneyball 2.0. And I said, well, how so? How is this Moneyball 2.0? He said, because now we can identify potential injuries and based on athletes' mobility and their movement patterns. But in addition to that, we can also assist athletes with their mobility challenges, exercises to help prevent injuries or even speed up recovery. And then he shared the explicit example. If you have access to the slides, I put it on, if you link on the slides, when you go to this side, you'll see there's an article back in 2023, that spring, Joe Musgrove, ESPN reported, Padres Joe Musgrove fractures toe in weight room accident. And Joe likes to wear barefoot shoes or just wear no shoes at all, and he broke his toe. He was going to be out for about 2 to 3 months. So as soon as that happened, of course, they did some therapy with him. But when he was able to start throwing again about 4 weeks after, and was able to get at least some mobility in his toe, he actually came, he flew back to San Diego or drove back, and he went to the biomechanics lab. And what Dr. Arnel Aguinaldo, the founder of this lab, was telling me is that they were able to look at Joe's pitching sequence and able to modify just a little bit of his movements where it wouldn't impact the toe so much, but he still had the same level of impact when it came to throwing the baseball and the level of velocity. And that all happened being able to analyze this. But the other thing I brought up to him, I said, like, if this is Moneyball 2.0, and you can look at different pictures and different things, this analysis would be able to justify their long-term contracts. This analysis would allow them to look at and say, like, hey, for example, Blake Snow, we're only going to give you a 2-year contract, which is exactly what the San Francisco Giants, they're only giving you a 2-year contract because when you pitch, this is how long you go. This is how far you go. And after Blake Snow winning the Cy Young Award in 2023, he's like, wait, I just won the most prestigious award and you only want to give me 2 years? And with now looking at biomechanics, looking at the analysis of his body movement, of his endurance, of his velocity, teams now and organizations are able to say, like, yeah, we're not giving you a 10-year contract. Because you're only good for 2 years. After that, the stats say that you may not be as effective. Or the other way around could be a pitcher is, hey, how am I going to come back? Let's take Kirby Yates. He just signed with the Dodgers. Last year, he was with the Texas Rangers, but a few years before that, he had gone through Tommy John surgery back in 2020 and had a couple down years. So being able to analyze, like, how could I resurrect my career and still contribute to this game? A biomechanics analysis would allow him to do that. So this is how it's now Moneyball 2.0, because we're not just looking at numbers. We're now looking at the human movement of what's being impacted. And as I'm saying all of this, I want you all to start thinking of those students that may like research and development, those students that love analysis, those students that love math, those students, even those students that love sports, but have no desire for biology, for physics, or for mathematics, or for statistics. I want you to start kind of rolling with me as far as what's going on. So in the chat, I'm gonna go back to a little bit of history here. Those of you that were around in the 1990s, which I'm assuming it's a good amount of you, remember this? Be like Mike. We all wanted to be like Michael Jordan. So in the chat, I want you to share what you wanted to be between the ages of 10 and 14 years old. What did you want to be when you were growing up at that time? Doesn't matter. Hey, at second grade, I wanted to be Batman, and nothing was going to stop me. And later on, once I got older, I realized that is going to stop me. But between the ages of 10 and 14, I knew for a fact I wanted to be a professional baseball player. Thank you, Brock. Yes. Mr. Glover, Jacob. Yes, there you go. Alex Press, Jerry Rice. There you go. We have these doctor by day, popstar by night. Dr. Julie Robello, you wanted to be a medical doctor? You still got the title, though, but still, like, this is awesome. Carrie, you want to be Amanda Beard, a swimmer, a veterinarian. Jen, thank you. Marcelino, breakdancer. All right, that's awesome. So as you all are sharing this, and I love it. Thank you so much, everyone. What are the chances, like, if I would have known, and I want to go back to, or actually I'll bring this up in a moment, but this goes back down to a group of data that I was actually synthesizing and putting together when it comes to the chances of being the next great athlete. Growing up, I actually got to see, I knew there was a chance for me to be a baseball player, and I wanted to be a pitcher. Ironically, I wanted to be a pitcher because of Fernando Valenzuela, and rest in peace, because one, I was Hispanic, just like him, from Mexico. And in addition to that, at the time in 1996, he was playing for the Padres. And I was so excited. My great grandmother's maiden name was Valenzuela, and there's a little history there. So very far related, but I was like, there is a chance. There has to be a chance. And at the same time, I was looking at his stature, I was looking at his build. I'm like, hey, I could do this. I could definitely do this. But let's look at the analysis when it comes to having a sports medicine career or even becoming a star athlete. So chances of becoming a sports medicine and getting involved with this are over 90% for those meeting educational requirements. So 9 out of 10 students can actually become and involved with sports medicine. And there's a strong growth rate currently now of a 17 projected growth rate within this. Becoming a star athlete though, all right? I'm using Michael Jordan as an example. You can look at, I mean, Patrick Mahomes. I'm only saying that because, I mean, Kansas City, Super Bowl this weekend. But you can also look at Shohei Ohtani. Look at these star athletes that are consistently up there year in and year out. But chances are 1 in 11,000 for high school players to reach the NBA. 1 in millions to become an all-time great like Michael Jordan. So the chances are extremely high, or the competition is extremely high, with only a very small fraction of achieving that elite status. So the odds of becoming a superstar athlete are astronomically low compared to the likelihood of entering the sports medicine field. Now that leads me to continue on with the story behind this initiative. Visiting Dr. Arnell and getting a tour here at the Point Loma Biomechanics Lab, I asked him, I said, when do your students in your undergrad program find out about this opportunity to work in this field of biomechanics? And he was telling me it's not until their upper division, not until their third year, where they see if they decide to go to grad school, they could be a part of our health sciences and look at these different opportunities that we have. And I'm not going to go over these are the requirements in order to get to their graduate program with health sciences. But in this slide right here, or in this photo, if you download the photo, you'll see he's actually showing the alumni of where they currently work. So as currently speak, those that have attended the biomechanics or graduated with Point Loma with their graduate degrees in health sciences, a lot of their alumni work at Rady Children's Hospital, the San Diego Padres, Cincinnati Reds, San Francisco Giants, Pittsburgh Pirates, Tampa Bay Rays, Memphis Grizzlies, Naval Health Research Center. So those of you that posted on the chat right now that you wanted to be a professional athlete, technically, and this goes for me too, we could have still been working with the professional athletes. We could have been working, and I'm speaking for myself. If I would have taken biology in 7th grade a lot more serious than I did, and if I would have taken it a lot more serious in high school, then my career trajectory could be different. So my whole thought was, what if we give students an opportunity to tie in the major league sports and opportunities that interest them and show them like, hey, you could still be working with the athletes. Try to be that athlete, be that D1 athlete. But even then, when you go to school, and if that's the choice you go, what kind of majors are you going to look at? So again, this is just food for thought. So now it leads me to this next part, and this is a part where we will be looking at, and I'm going to now talk to you all about this. And when thinking of physical education, science courses, and mathematics, when thinking of these subjects, and in the chat, or you can unmute yourself, what are the essential learning outcomes that we want students to achieve? And as you think of that, I want you to consider, you'll notice that I put the next generation science standards on here, where the core ideas and the practices are oftentimes very explicit, but sometimes what we don't always look at are the cross-cutting subject or the cross-cutting standards that actually tie in with the next generation science standards. So that includes just simply looking at at 6th grade for middle school, because I'm going to give you that as an example, just to kind of be right in the middle of all of our K through 12. You have language arts, you have mathematics, and you could incorporate physical education as well. So in the chat, do me a favor, and what are the essential learning outcomes we want students to achieve? And in general, if you're teaching math, if you're teaching science, if you're teaching physical education, What is it that you want them to achieve? Growth. Thank you. Thank you, Brock. Critical thinking skills. Absolutely. Yaritza, yeah. I mean, you can repeat it again. It's totally cool. We could take a analysis when it comes to how many are these that we're looking at. Forward progress. Tools to interpret data, information, and to make the informed decisions on their own. Gain knowledge around scientific method. Absolutely. And those are the things that we're trying to look at. And why not have these cross-cutting concepts to do that with? The other question I have now leads to this part. How can sports and medicine make academic outcomes more relevant to our students? Think about it on that aspect. No, absolutely, Carrie. Identifying real world applications definitely gets students excited when they can see that there's a purpose behind what they're learning. Yeah, yes, it directly connects with topics that kids like. Absolutely, Julie. It could be a motivating factor when it comes to sports medicine. I will add also, just this is not technically part of this session here, but even when it comes to the engineering design process and when it comes to 3D printing, I remember having a 3D printer back in my classroom in 2014 and 15. I had got it through Donors Choose, and I did not know what to use it for. It hasn't been until the last 2 years until I started working with my colleague Carrie Lane, where she creates problem cards, and they're real life problem cards of students that have that need accessibility and adaptability, but not only students, even animals and pets, like from the Humane Society. And you should see students' focus completely shifts when it comes to their engagement and why they're doing what they're doing. And like you said, Marcelino, it is the why, and Mr. Glover as well, real world and relatable connections to the subject matter. And why not sports? Why absolutely not sports? Why not things that students see here? So the other question I have, and this is the last one, regarding when it comes to the backwards design aspect of it, is what real world applications careers in sports or medicine would motivate students to engage with science, physical education, and mathematics? Maybe some of you are thinking like, why aren't you talking about this career? If that's what you're thinking, please write it in the chat. What other careers that you know of would encourage students with science, physical education, and mathematics? Aviation. That's a good one. Sports statistics, firefighting. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Physical therapy, medicine right now. Oh, Yaritza, you're talking about your students are really into cancer biology. Wow. It's sometimes those stories that hit us very, very hard that you just kind of start wondering, okay, like that investment, that why behind it. Like, for example, I was notified today that a family member of mine was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I've been thinking about that all afternoon, and I'm like, okay, like, how can I dive deeper into this? What can I do to change my lifestyle? What can I do to change my things, you know? Um, and all of that being said, like, it's just sometimes it's those things that kind of hit close to home that allows us to motivate. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. occupational therapy, OSHA, that could be another one as well. Robotics, thank you. That's another one. Very powerful. Especially when we're talking about like the Special Olympics, robotics has a place and when it comes to all of that. So actually, that's a nice segue, Mr. Glover, to this. So let me kind of show you how students responded. You may have seen this video, but I definitely want to showcase. I've had the opportunity of teaching what I like to call our bioengineering sports lab twice already. And it's a great experience for our students. It was a group of students from sixth graders from Chula Vista that came through, and we're piloting this and definitely going to offer more offerings next upcoming school year. Carrie, you mentioned concussions is something that's very powerful. Athlete safety. Oh my gosh, that is very important as well when it comes to understanding that. But this is a little promotional that I made. Again, with just a 2-day experience, it's going to be a little energetic, but I want you to see just how excited these students are. I was blown away by their excitement and their engagement as well. That's the beauty about it. I did not have to deal with students being off task or disrespectful, or it was very quick, very succinct, but also very engaging. So let's go ahead and just check out this video.
Welcome to the Bioengineering Sports Lab. This is where we learn about our strengths and interests and how they connect to cool careers like biomechanics, biomedical engineering, accessibility, and more.
In the morning, we do RIASEC activities to figure out what we're good at and explore jobs with San Diego sports teams and in health fields.
And my favorite part of the bioengineering sports lab was the convention because we could explore the human body and what was inside of it and also where the human parts were at.
In the afternoon, we use the engineering design process to solve problems for people who are medically fragile or recovering from sports injury.
All right, so that leads, the students had an amazing time. I enjoyed being able to see them just engaged with the different activities. I put here on the chat if you want to look it up, but it's the RISEC theory, which is a theory. Long story short, it's a theory from John Holland. He's a psychologist that ties in the strengths of individuals with different careers. So teaching students that the things that they enjoy doing, they could actually be a career connected with that. So why not just the things, I'm always like, not only the things that you enjoy doing, but also the field that you would enjoy doing it with. So you will be leaving with something. I'm going to give you all a gift that I've been working on for the last few months. But before that, so what does this mean now for you all? Because this is not just a show and tell, but I wanted to get you all connected as far as what could this mean in your classroom, connecting this to careers in sports and medicine, but a possible school structure or integration. So it could be something that you offer as an elective or integrated into a science and physical education. So think about the possibilities of, and again, think outside the box with me if you can. But what if we could have cross collaborations between our physical education and our biology classes, and maybe even a statistical math analysis class, or one way or the other? Creating a project based learning experience to connect theory with real world applications and cross cutting existing school resources. I was talking to one of our directors for our CTE programs here, Al Love, and kind of sharing this whole concept of research and development and thinking like, are there schools in our county that have a research and development aspect very similar to kind of like a major league team would? So getting those students in those math classes, those statistical math classes, to look at the video footage of the football team, of the basketball team, of the baseball team, and to help analyze and catch certain things that maybe, no pun intended, but maybe aren't being caught. And bringing those kids that may not identify themselves as athletes, but they definitely love the books, they definitely love analysis. The other aspect is this: benefits for students in schools. It enhances physical education and science curriculum all into one, attracts students to STEM, sports, and medicine, and all those other fields that you all were talking about earlier. And there's a possibility of building potential industry partnerships. And we're always talking about building career readiness and everything else. Now, looking at this, let's look at connecting the classroom with traditional experiences, with modern, and also with just different subjects. But if we look at it, everything that we see now can be brought together. You see traditional classrooms with the fifth grade fitness exams that are sometimes, I mean, are expected by our state. You have the traditional rope climbing exercises, of course, basketball. And then, of course, my favorite was running the mile in middle school, but then that's something that consistently happens a lot. But then you go back to what happens in the classroom, the analysis of chemistry, of biological, just body parts, the human anatomy, and then always going through the observation variables, and then looking at just different mathematical statistics. And in essence, we do have access to this. Of course, the beauty and putting it all together would be something with the biomechanics, but we also have biometrics. If you're wearing a smartwatch like myself or a Fitbit, you're analyzing your movements. You're analyzing, and even now to the point of even just an Apple Health Watch, it's I do not know how it does how it's working, but it supposedly is measuring my VO2 mix when it comes to like the air I'm breathing in and out and the levels I'm doing it at and giving me recommendations. So these accesses are there when it comes to the middle, as far as like just the biomechanics and the biometrics. Now, the gift I wanted to give you all was this right here, and it is if you are into curriculum and instruction, you'll recognize the Understanding by Design by the late Grant Wiggins, which is pretty much a backwards design unit. And I basically created this entire program and a learning experience with students, of course, with the backwards planning in mind, where students would learn from middle school standards, the engineering design process. They would learn different when it comes to molecules and organisms, motion and stability and forces. And these are all NGSS standards. And I will the link is here again, if you go, but I'll put the link to this specific one here in the chat. So that way, if you'd like access to it, you have access to this entire 10-page backwards design method, which also has the Riasec rotations that I did. So you have access to using this and whatnot. And later on, I'll take a survey to see how many of you would be interested in maybe a professional development And one of the things that my colleague Carrie Lane has done exceptionally well was it's a process known as experience, create, and facilitate, where you get to experience, you get to create and facilitate these learning opportunities. It's a professional development done with teachers in real time and students in real time, so you get to observe and see how this is done. So if that's of interest, I'll put that in our survey at the end to gather your thoughts and whatnot. But before I move forward, do I have any questions so far? Because there is one more aspect I want to go over when it comes to connecting industry. And I love that you all are here. Thank you so much for being here on a Tuesday evening. So, community and industry partnerships. So we have to look at it also. There's opportunities for internships and mentorships available with this collaboration with sports team, medical institutions, and universities. So let's not just think it's just the Padres. That's the only sports team we have here. You're seeing the moment. There's a lot more to that. And again, I think we have already hit this nail on the head, especially when we were sharing it in the chat. But why does this matter? It engages students through real world applications. It prepares them for high demand careers. If you'll notice, one of the first careers that I brought up, even with the Point Loma Biomechanics Lab and the graduate students from their health department or their health and sciences department, is Rady Children's Hospital and physical therapy to help supporting students with accessibility and the opportunity to give them more mobility and opportunities for them to grow. So, who can we look for, and who in your community can you network to support this type of initiative? And this is the part where I would love support, but also you might have someone. So if you do, please put it in the chat. But ideas could possibly be like, hey, we do have the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. They have their minor league team here as the San Diego Gulls. Again, we do have one of the only major sports teams we have in San Diego now, the San Diego Padres. But we also now have, I take that back, we have the San Diego Wave, the women's soccer. Opening up next month, the San Diego Football Club. I don't know if anyone here is familiarized with the San Diego Seals. It's the lacrosse team as well. Thank you, Marcelino. I did not put that on here, but we actually have the San Diego Clippers. They are back. They are the G League to the LA Clippers. We also have the San Diego Mojo. I don't know if anyone's heard of the Mojo yet. It is the professional volleyball team we have here in San Diego. So think about, these are the teams and these are the organizations that we could reach out to. The Olympic Training Center. Thank you, Mr. Glover. Absolutely, the Olympic Training Center. And especially with the Olympics coming to Los Angeles in the next, or Southern California for the most part, and the World Cup in the next, 5 to 6 years, we'll be experiencing that all down here. This is the time to really capture our students and really give them that purpose. And also consider inviting our higher ed community to be a part of this. Like, hey, and reach out to those departments, whether it be at San Diego State, UCSD, the USD Toreros, Point Loma, and let's not forget our CSU San Marcos as well. And of course, I couldn't find all their logos for the athletic departments, but let's also show some love to our community college. I'm a product of Southwestern College Jaguars. So getting involved with them and getting them to come speak and getting them to come look at and just even observe and setting up field trips to go look at their analytics and whatnot. And I do want to bring this up. When it comes to these types of initiatives, I recently heard a podcast. It's called the Digging Deep podcast. It's a podcast by a former Padre, Eric Hosmer, but he had current Dodgers pitcher Tyler Glasnow on there. And they were talking about his career with the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, get this. The Tampa Bay Rays' research and development department started because of their connection with some alumni that used to work for the Oakland Athletics in the early 2000s, aka where we got Moneyball. So they ended up moving to Tampa Bay, creating this entire infrastructure. So around 2008, the Tampa Bay Rays were another Moneyball story. All these no-namers, and they're in the playoffs and fighting, and they continuously develop players. And Tyler Glasnow who's now one of the starting aces for the Los Angeles Dodgers, said that that the Tampa Bay Rays spend as much money in the research and development as they do in players, which grant you isn't a lot for Major League Baseball standards, but it is a lot for research and development. And he said that the relationship between the Tampa Bay Rays players and research and development is so tight and so well respected. So just imagine if you find that one student that loves statistics and you find your all-star athlete on campus, what would happen if they became the best of friends when it comes to the analysis and the research and development? So at this point, I would like to leave it open for any questions, any thoughts, any feedback of the potential of how this could possibly move forward. And yes, I purposely put this on this GIF on here. It was a series that came out in 2016 of the. It's a fictional series, but you never know; it could eventually happen. Of the first woman in Major League Baseball, and ironically, they chose the San Diego Padres. I believe we were hosting the All-Star game that year, so that's why they did that. But thank you everyone for being with us. But other than that, do I have any questions regarding any of this? Any thoughts, any feedback? Feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself as well.
Chris, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Dinah.
Oh, hi. Hi. I am actually not in the classroom as a teacher. I'm a counselor, but I find that I work with kids that are sometimes at the age where they're starting to get a little apathetic and start to ask those questions like, when am I ever going to use this? When am I ever going to use this? And so I love the real world applications. But have you seen it as maybe as part of an after school program? Is that what that lab is, implementing something like that? Because like I said, I don't have access to the students every day, but I would love for our kids to get excited about math and see the real world application.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So first off, the way we're creating this lab is to have a daytime experience for students to come visit our Linda Vista Innovation Center. But not only that, it's not just to come and visit, but we really also want to emphasize the importance of being able to take this back to the classroom. So working in collaboration, kind of like what I brought up right now. And Marianne, thank you for bringing this up. But yes, I do want to do a PD in person, so that way teachers can start bringing these opportunities to their classrooms and kind of restructuring. For example, talking to our Dr. Gallegos a few months ago, one of the things we started looking at was, for the most part, every middle school and almost every high school has some sort of type of gym or weight room. And why not add opportunities to have these biometrics and biomechanical analysis of students and bringing together these biology classes? And just imagine a biology class hosting their class in a PE weight room, and vice versa, where the PE is actually doing their class in the biology classroom. Again, this is outside the box thinking, and it would take a lot of collaboration and trust within that. But introducing these types of concepts, and also the importance of introducing the types of careers with the students. That's why in this bioengineering sports lab and everything we do here at the Linda Vista Innovation Center revolves around what's called the RIASEC, having students identify their strengths with that. But I definitely believe, and I mean, thank you for being here tonight, Dinah, with that. But that's a great question. And the goal is definitely to inspire other teachers and students to take this back to the classroom. So I don't want it just to be like a field trip where students come and visit the bioengineering lab, but it's like, okay, we experienced this. Now, how can I take this back and modify our physical education or science or mathematical courses within our school site? Yaritza, you bring up a great question. What would a collaboration look like, though? Just a team showing up and talking to the kids. I mean, that's part of it. I will say, even in the video, I actually used Cameo, and I actually have one former Padre and a former San Diego Wave player welcoming our kids to the bioengineering sports lab and explaining what they're going to learn that day. And I kid you not, the kids got excited for that. But the collaboration actually looks a lot more of showing kids the types of careers. So, for example, And I've reached out and we're in talks right now with the San Diego Football Club. We're on pause with the Wave. They're going through a lot, as you all have probably seen. They're going through a lot of organizational and player just changes right now. But the idea is this: is that students are able to look at the top careers that every major sports organization has. So looking at the Padres, looking at even at the Clippers, the Gulls, looking at the San Diego Wave and the football club, and for students to see like this is a potential career that I could work in this major league sports, and what degree do I need? What knowledge do I need? And and how will this look like, even as far as the growth and the level of income? So all in all, it's not just having kid like the team showing up and talking to the kids. It's more giving kids exposure to the types of careers that exist within these types of sporting organizations as well. But also building on that, even hospitals like Rady's Children's Hospital, what kind of doctor could you be? Rather than students just thinking to themselves like, oh, I'm just going to be a pediatrician. There are many aspects to it where, like I mentioned earlier, there's students that are learning the importance of biomechanics, and they're physical therapists working with children that need that extra support. But ideally, yeah, I mean, it would be cool like if the students like a hey, if Manny Machado showed up talking to your kids about the front office, great. But I mean, I would look at even like AJ Preller. Like, yes, I would love to see that happen. But the reality, that's not always going to happen. But showing kids like you could still work for your favorite sport team. Just you may not be LeBron James, but you could be the one giving LeBron James that analysis of what he can do to continue his career going forward. All right. So great question, Yaritza. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Well, if there are no further questions, again, I want to thank you all. Don't forget to you have the resources available. They're on the chat right now. So I know Dr. Gallegos put it together, the comments. So thank you, Mr. Glover. Thank you, Aitza, for everything. I really appreciate you all being here tonight and